The story begins when my mom decided to groom my younger sister, Lily, into the perfect romantic heroine of a doting wife story. Every day, she forced Lily to drink milk and even take milk baths, all so that her burps and farts would smell like milk. Not stopping there, she made Lily wear crop tops to kindergarten, saying her little round tummy would surely catch the attention of some young CEO in the making. But when Lily came home, she was in tears, clinging to me and crying that her classmates thought she was gross. That night, I gathered countless real-life examples to persuade my mom to stop poisoning Lily with these bizarre notions of a doting wife narrative. My efforts seemed to work, and Mom stopped forcing Lily into this nonsense. Years later, when Lily was in high school, she developed a crush on a cool and aloof top student. After confessing her feelings and being rejected, Mom brought up the past again. "I told you, men love doting wives. If your sister hadn't stopped me from grooming you, your confession wouldn't have failed." This planted a seed of resentment in Lily. Eventually, she poisoned me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the very day my mom decided to start the Doting Wife Project with Lily. "I've decided." Mom's cheerful voice snapped me out of the terror of my past life and into reality. I looked around in confusion and realized I was sitting on the balcony doing homework. The excruciating pain of my internal organs being corroded by poison was gone. First, I thought this was a dying hallucination, but the sunlight streaming through the window felt all too real. Lily clung to my arm and shook me gently. "Big sis, I don't want to be a doting wife. I just want to go to the park and play like the other kids." Staring at her innocent, cherubic face, I froze for a moment before it hit me. I had been reborn. Lily was only 5 years old in this life, her face full of youthful innocence. In my previous life, I had been desperate to preserve this purity and tried to stop Mom when she announced the doting wife plan. But the result? A resentful Lily poisoned me with a drugged cup of milk tea. I never expected my beloved little sister to push me into the freezing depths of the ocean as I begged for help. My body racked with pain, the agony of being devoured by fish and shrimp, the suffocating cold of the sea. None of it compared to the heartbreak of being betrayed by her. As my body sank into the dark sea, I kept begging the heavens, if I were given another chance, I wouldn't interfere this time. By some miracle, the heavens granted my wish. "Big sis, are you okay?" Lily's soft voice shook me out of my suffocating memories. I pushed her away with one hand, and she fell to the floor, crying loudly. Seeing her cry brought me a small sense of satisfaction, but it wasn't nearly enough. When Mom came to check on us, I quickly walked up to her and smiled. "Mom, weren't you planning to groom Lily into the perfect doting wife?" "I was just thinking. All the doting wives in novels are gentle and fragile in public, but pitifully strong behind closed doors." Mom gave me a skeptical look. "You've always disagreed with me on making Lily a doting wife. Just yesterday, you said it was a bad idea." I interrupted her with a laugh. "That was yesterday. Today, I've changed my mind. Who says doting wives are bad? They're amazing. Lily's name even screams doting wife material. With your careful guidance, she'll definitely become a beloved heroine in the future." With my sudden support, Mom's enthusiasm soared. That very afternoon, she ordered 10 boxes of whole milk online along with baby bowls, spoons, and other feeding items. When the deliverman arrived and knocked on the door, Mom enthusiastically shoved 5-year-old Lily to open it. Standing on tiptoe, Lily struggled to reach the door handle but couldn't. Impatient, the deliverman knocked harder, scaring her to tears. Only then did Mom leisurely stroll over, but instead of opening the door, she crouched down and scolded Lily. "How many times do I have to teach you? How should a doting wife cry?" Softly, with teary eyes, looking pitiful. "Not this wailing nonsense. Do it again." I watched the scene unfold in shock. Without my intervention, Mom had gone completely unhinged. I couldn't imagine how miserable Lily's future would become. Trying her best not to cry, Lily held back her tears. Her delicate face flushed and her eyes red. It was an image that perfectly fit the childhood doting wife archetype. Mom finally opened the door, then hurried back to her room to watch the surveillance footage she had set up. Mom had deliberately left Lily to face the deliverman alone, convinced that, just like in the novels she read, even men of any age couldn't resist a pitiful female lead. Lily wore a pink crop top, her chubby little belly sticking out, paired with a tight mini skirt. Honestly, I had to admire Mom's ability to find such outrageous outfits for a child. Sure enough, the deliveryman chuckled. What a peculiar outfit. Very trendy. Unfazed, Mom beamed with pride as she stared at the computer screen. Meanwhile, Lily's sweet, childlike voice drifted from the speakers. Uncle, do you think I'm pretty? Hearing such flirtatious words from a little girl left the deliveryman momentarily stunned. You're adorable, he finally said. Lily's cheeks flushed red, and she followed him closely, handing him a bottle of chilled soda from the fridge. Uncle, you're sweating. Have a drink and take a break. The deliveryman, not suspecting anything, took the soda and gulped it down at the dining table. But what happened next left him completely frozen. Lily climbed onto another chair and began wiping the sweat off his face with her shirt, speaking in a soft, coquettish tone. Uncle, you're sweating so much, Lily said sweetly. Let me wipe it for you. Watching as Lily's tiny hand reached toward the deliveryman, Mom shook with excitement, nearly beside herself. It's happening. It's happening. This is it. The first physical contact between the rugged male lead and the delicate heroine. This nurturing style story is just too thrilling. But her anticipation was shattered in the next second. The deliveryman, alarmed by Lily's overly mature behavior, leapt up from his chair as if launched by a spring. He stumbled backward, retreating all the way to the door. What the heck is this? He bellowed, glaring at Lily. You're barely as tall as my leg, and you're already trying to flirt with men? What kind of parenting is this? Before finishing the job of delivering the milk, he bolted, looking over his shoulder as if fearing Lily might chase after him. I nearly burst out laughing at the sight, but Mom was furious. Useless. I had a rugged male lead right here. And he ran off, determined to give Lily a dramatic backstory like every doting heroine should have. Mom decided on a punishment. She made Lily carry the remaining 8 boxes of milk into the house by herself. Tears silently streamed down Lily's face as she carried box after box. She didn't dare cry aloud. That wouldn't fit the image of a proper doting heroine. Every so often, she glanced at me with pleading eyes, hoping I'd step in and convince Mom to stop. But every time, I deliberately looked away, pretending not to notice. Finally, after I finished 2 pages of my test prep, Lily was done. Her small hands were red and raw from the effort. But Mom wasn't finished. She made Lily practice reciting the catchphrases of a classic doting wife. Big brother. I'm so sorry. I'm just a silly little girl who can't do anything right. Lily's voice was soft and sweet, with an adorable pout. Big brother. Today I'm your little wildcat. Meow. She blinked her big, round eyes playfully. Big brother. Look at me. I don't believe your eyes are empty. She puckered her pink lips and, with a hesitant little kick of her small, pale foot, tried to brush against the imaginary man's leg. The whole scene was so cringe-inducing I couldn't bear to watch. Afraid I'd lose control and interfere again, I escaped to my room and shut the door, focusing on my vocabulary drills instead. To make sure Lily fit the image of a doting wife even physically, Mom started giving her milk at every meal. Morning, noon, and night. She wasn't allowed to drink plain water. Only milk was permitted. At night, Mom made her take milk baths, convinced it would make her skin soft and fragrant. Doting wives in novels are all sweet and delicate, Mom declared. Their whole bodies smell like milk, even their burps and other things. She insisted milk baths would nourish Lily's skin, making it as smooth and supple as a baby's. Relatives tried to warn her, saying too much milk could be harmful, but Mom brushed them off. What do you know? Girls who grow up drinking milk have skin that's irresistibly smooth. Men love it. Just one touch, and they'll never forget the sensation. Eventually, the relatives gave up, thinking Mom was out of her mind. Even Lily's grandparents stopped visiting, considering Mom beyond saving. As for our dad, he didn't care about us at all. He had a new family, including a cherished son. His mistress was the quintessential doting wife, eating from baby bowls, speaking in baby talk. That's why Mom became so obsessed with turning Lily into a doting wife. She believed it was the only way for Lily to win a man's heart and avoid repeating her own failures. She once tried to mold me into a doting wife, but I inherited Dad's sturdy frame. I wasn't built for it, and Mom eventually gave up. In my previous life, I pitied Mom and tried to help her find her way back to normalcy. But after my death, my soul lingered, watching as Lily confessed everything to Mom. Mom silently destroyed the evidence of my murder and took Lily to a new city, using the life insurance payout to start over. My body wasn't even claimed. As the summer passed, Lily was sent to kindergarten. On the way, Mom repeatedly reminded her to establish her doting wife persona at school. Play with the boy from the wealthiest family, she instructed. Build a connection with the handsomest boy. Lily nodded obediently from her car seat, but I stayed tuned out, headphones blocking the world. At the kindergarten, Mom immediately began scouting potential male leads for Lily. Her eyes landed on a boy in a tiny suit. Everything about him, from his posture to his demeanor, exuded affluence. Clearly, his family was rich enough to meet Mom's CEO standards. But there was a problem. The boy seemed to have a terrible temper, from the car to the school entrance. He snapped at the servants around him, even hitting them. I couldn't help but comment, "Mom, this boy seems pretty temperamental. Are you sure he won't hurt Lily? Do you really think he's a good target for her to charm?" Mom has always been someone who can't resist a challenge. The more people tell her something won't work, the more determined she is to prove them wrong. As soon as I mentioned the boy's temper, she scolded me harshly. "What do you know? A child with a temper shows personality. And that's not a bad temper. It's just an adorable kind of fierceness. A perfect trait for a young CEO in the making. Besides, a bad temper means he has a story. That boy is obviously destined to be a male lead. And my Lily will be his salvation. Over time, their interactions will soften him, and Lily's actions will gradually smooth out his rough edges." With that, she pushed Lily out of the car. Before Lily left, Mom leaned in and whispered something in her ear. I watched Lily's small figure, her backpack bouncing as she ran toward the boy, and saw the smirk on Mom's face. She looked like a fangirl obsessed with a romantic pairing. Curious about what Mom had told Lily, I didn't have to wait long to find out. Soon enough, I heard Lily's exaggerated, babyish voice in the distance. "Oh no, I'm so clumsy. I accidentally tripped. Big brother, can you help me up?" Lily performed a perfectly rehearsed fall, showcasing the tearful crying technique Mom had made her practice countless times at home. Her wide, innocent eyes stared up at the boy with a pitiful expression. Mom's imagination went into overdrive. In her mind, the scene had transformed into the quintessential romantic encounter, the clumsy beauty falling in front of the male lead, whose heart would instantly be captured as he helped her up. From that moment, their fates would be intertwined. But just as I was marveling at the extent of Mom's delusions, a burst of laughter came from the boy. "Are you an idiot? How do you even trip on flat ground?" he said, pointing at Lily sprawled on the ground, mocking her without restraint. "You really are stupid." Turning to the servant behind him, he complained, "Mom said stupidity is contagious. I want to transfer to another school. Right now, I'm not staying in the same kindergarten as someone like her." Mom froze at his reaction but quickly recovered, smiling brightly. "Oh, so it's not love at first sight. It's the classic enemies to lovers trope. This brat can deny it now, but he'll regret it when Lily starts making other friends at school." Lily's face turned bright red from embarrassment. That moment, my aunt arrived with my cousin, Eric. Seeing Lily on the ground, Eric immediately ran over to help her up. Having overheard the boy's mocking words, Eric stood up for Lily and shoved the boy. "How can you talk to a girl like that?" Eric demanded. "My mom says girls are supposed to be protected. You owe Lily an apology." The boy wasn't one to back down. He pushed Eric back and retorted angrily, "She admitted she's clumsy. It's not my fault she tripped. If she's stupid, why can't I say so? It's the truth. Stupid, stupid, stupid." The situation escalated quickly, and the adults and teachers rushed over to break up the fight. Mom, however, looked annoyed at the interference. These people just don't understand romance. Can't they see the love triangle forming here? This kind of chaos is what makes stories exciting. Lily, meanwhile, hid behind Eric, tugging at his shirt timidly. "Big brother, Don't fight with others because of me. It's all my fault for being clumsy. The boy, catching Lily's words, pointed at her and declared loudly, "See? She admitted it. She's clumsy and loves to cry. Mom says kids like her are the most annoying." With that, he shoved past Lily and Eric and stomped toward the kindergarten entrance. Mom watched him go with a gleam in her eye. What a little CEO. He'll regret this someday. Still, childhood friends like Eric are great, too. I'll have to bring Lily over to your aunt's house more often. That afternoon, however, Lily came to me in tears. "Big sis, Eric doesn't like me anymore." When I asked why, she wouldn't answer, just giving me a look that said, "Figure it out yourself." I recognize this as another one of Mom's lessons. Doting heroines never speak plainly. They make others guess. But I wasn't playing along. I stayed silent. And after a few minutes, Lily couldn't hold it in anymore. During recess, when we were lining up for the slide, Big Brother was behind me, and I accidentally let out a fart. She admitted, her face flushing with shame. Mom said that since I've been drinking so much milk, my farts should smell sweet, like milk. But Eric said it smelled awful and that it almost knocked him out. He ignored me all afternoon and even ran away when he saw me. The other kids laughed at me, too. They said my clothes were ugly and that my belly sticking out was gross. Even the teacher didn't want to talk to me. Big sis, I don't want to be a doting wife anymore. Can you talk to Mom and make her stop? Lily looked up at me with teary eyes. Her voice soft as she pleaded, "I just want to play with the other kids." Her pitiful expression almost made me waver. But the resolve I had built from my past life stopped me. I grabbed her hand and led her to Mom's room. "If you have something to say, tell her yourself," I said. "I'm not going to be your go-between anymore." In the room, Mom was on a video call with my aunt. Apparently, Eric had gone home and told her about Lily's less than pleasant gas problem. As a pediatrician, my aunt gently broached the topic. "Jenna, are you sure Lily's digestion is okay? Eric said her gas smelled terrible, and even when she talks or burps, there's a sour odor. Maybe you should bring her to the hospital for a checkup this weekend. It's not good for her development if this continues." And when I saw her at school today, she looked much smaller than the other kids her age. Mom's face stiffened instantly. "What are you trying to say?" she snapped. "Lily is my daughter. I know if there was something wrong with her. Her burps and other things don't smell bad. Maybe it's your son's sense of smell that's off. I give Lily 8 glasses of milk a day. She even smells like milk when she talks. How could it possibly be sour? Maybe you should take Eric to get his nose checked instead." And to think I believed he could be a good match for my Lily. Ha! With that attitude, he's clearly doomed to fail in the pursuit of love. My aunt looked baffled. "Jenna, what are you even talking about? And as a mother, how do you not know that too much milk is bad for children? It could harm her body instead of helping. I've said my piece. If you want to keep ignoring it, there's nothing more I can do." With that, she hung up. Mom rolled her eyes and turned to see Lily standing in the doorway. Her expression softened immediately, and she smiled warmly. "Don't worry, Lily. That boy wasn't worthy of you anyway. But it's okay. Tomorrow, I'll personally help you find someone better. Now, let's go have your milk bath." My little doting wife. Lily didn't dare repeat what she had told me earlier. She followed Mom to the bathroom like a puppet, and I turned away from her pleading look, reminding myself over and over not to interfere. The next day, as Mom dropped Lily off at kindergarten, one of the teachers stopped her. "Lily's mom," she began politely. "I understand that parents want their children to look fashionable, but it's important for kids to maintain their innocence. Lily's outfits are a bit too mature." Mom interrupted, her tone sharp. "Innocence? Lily doesn't need innocence. She needs to learn how to capture a man's heart. Aren't we all about freedom of expression these days? Why can't kids dress fashionably? Are you discriminating against my Lily?" The teacher was left speechless. Before the atmosphere grew any more awkward, my aunt appeared with Eric in tow. She must have been prompted by last night's call. Or maybe Eric had told her more about Lily's unfortunate incident. As soon as she saw us, my aunt nudged Eric forward to apologize. Being the obedient boy he was, Eric pulled a lollipop from his bag and handed it to Lily. "I'm sorry. Lily, I shouldn't have said those things yesterday. Mom's face lit up as she clapped her hands in delight. See? I told you. Every male lead regrets making the heroine upset. But the Song family's background is just average. He'll only ever be a side character. My aunt frowned. Jenna, what are you even talking about? Mom adopted a haughty expression, as if she were the wise, protective mother of a romance novel protagonist. Don't think a single lollipop can make up for it. Lily might be a doting wife, but she has her pride. Your son has a long road ahead if he wants to win her forgiveness. My aunt's frown deepened. Jenna, these are just kids. Why are you twisting their friendship into something so bizarre? I didn't believe it when the relatives said you were trying to groom Lily into a doting wife. But now I see it's true. You're going to ruin her. She ushered Eric into the kindergarten, reminding him to steer clear of Lily if she acted strangely. And tell me if anything odd happens, she added. Mom scoffed as they walked away. Huh, with a mother like that, he's bound to fail in any love story. Eric stopped playing with Lily after that. He had been the only one willing to be her friend, and now she was left completely alone. Lily came home from school every day looking dejected, but Mom remained relentless, continuing to drill doting wife essentials into her. She even had Lily start practicing yoga at home. Yoga will keep your limbs soft and flexible, Mom explained. That way, when you're older, men will find you irresistible. Slowly, Lily's initial resistance faded. By the end, she became numb, convinced that her only purpose in life was to become a doting wife. She drank her milk, soaked in her milk baths, practiced yoga, and carried her baby utensils in her school bag instead of books. Mom, pleased with how everything was progressing, even started giving me extra pocket money. I bought myself a stack of practice exams. In my previous life, I had failed my high school entrance exams because I was too distracted managing Lily's life. I didn't make it into a top-tier high school. The public high school I ended up in was more lenient and didn't require students to live on campus, which meant I came home every day and spent my energy supervising Lily's studies. For 3 years, nearly all my time outside school was devoted to her. And in the end, I didn't even get into my dream college. This time, I was determined to get into a prestigious high school, far away from this suffocating household, and carve out a life for myself. I wanted to see how far I could go without the chains of Lily and Mom holding me back. Time passed quickly. Lily started high school, and I successfully got into my dream university. I worked part-time jobs to save money, planning for the day I could finally cut ties with this family. Without my intervention in this life, Lily was no longer the model student she had been in my previous life, nor did she meet the aloof academic star she had fallen for back then. At 15 years old, under Mom's meticulous grooming, Lily had fully embraced her role as the protagonist of a doting wife story. She didn't even know how to dress herself anymore. Mom insisted that the future life of a doting wife involved having everything handed to her on a silver platter, from clothes to meals. A doting wife wasn't supposed to lift a finger, only to be beautiful and charming. On her first day of school, Lily was brought to tears by her classmates. A boy, seeing her timid demeanor, decided to bully her by swapping her pristine English textbook with his own damaged one. He threw his torn book onto her desk and snatched hers. But Lily, who had internalized countless doting wife novels, saw this as a classic trope. She believed the boy was using this scheme to get her attention, dutifully following what she thought was the plotline. Lily decided to act as the innocent yet resilient heroine. She walked over to his desk, holding the damaged textbook, and stood there with teary eyes, looking as if she had suffered a great injustice. The boy glanced at her, puzzled. "What do you want?" Lily's soft voice trembled as she said, "Can I have my book back? Please." The boy smirked. "No, I like yours better." Lily's cheeks flushed, mistaking his response for a hidden confession. "But this is the first time we've met. We're still young, and we shouldn't rush into a relationship." "But," she hesitated, then shyly continued, "I'll give you a chance to pursue me," holding up 3 fingers. She added, 3 years. If you still feel the same after graduation, then we can be together." Her words left the boy utterly dumbfounded. He jumped out of his seat, shouting, "What the hell are you talking about? Who the hell likes you? Do you even know what you look like? Your hair is dry like straw. And your breath stinks. God, don't stand so close to me. You smell like rotten fish. It's disgusting. Most people would have been mortified by such harsh words. But Lily only blushed harder. She leaned closer, deliberately brushing past him to pick up the book from his desk in a slow, dramatic motion she had practiced from the novels. Hugging the book to her chest, she said shyly, I know you're just saying these things to get my attention, but you're hurting my feelings. If you keep this up, I'll have no choice but to let another boy be my male lead. Then you'll just be the side character who regrets everything. As she finished speaking, Lily let out a small, milk-scented burp. The boy gagged and vomited on the spot, right on Lily. The other students, finally understanding the situation, burst into laughter. How can someone so ordinary be this confident? One said. Does she think every boy in the world is her backup male lead? How did someone like her even get into this school? Another muttered. Did you smell that burp? I was standing 2 meters away and still caught a whiff of it. The mocking and jeers were relentless. Lily, for the first time, felt utterly humiliated. The disdain in her classmates' eyes was genuine and impossible to ignore. She started crying, but her carefully practiced doting wife crying technique couldn't mask the ugliness of her face, which was dotted with acne from years of excessive milk consumption. Her red, blotchy face made her look even worse, and it seemed as if her pimples might burst at any moment. Disgusted, the students backed away, leaving Lily alone to continue her performance. This was the scene we watched unfold on the school's surveillance footage. The boys' parents were furious and stormed into the school. This is harassment, the boy's father yelled. Ms. Zhang, you need to give me an explanation. My son has a stomach condition, and this girl's actions made him so sick on the first day of school. If he has to endure this for the rest of the year, how will his health survive? And what kind of school allows such behavior? She's already throwing herself at boys in her first year of high school. What's next? If she corrupts the other kids, who will take responsibility? On the other side of the room, Mom watched the footage with a satisfied smile. This was a textbook scene straight out of a high school romance novel, at least according to Mom. She watched the surveillance footage, her face glowing with delight. The sweet, innocent puppy dog male lead uses petty tricks to attract the heroine's attention. Over time, their relationship deepens. After 3 years, they get together, followed by 4 years of college romance. From high school hallways to wedding vows. What could be more romantic? Her words left the teachers and parents in stunned silence. The boy's mother, on the other hand, exploded with anger. Your daughter is crazy. But are you insane too? What nonsense is this? Sure, my son was wrong to swap textbooks, but this doesn't mean your daughter should retaliate in such a disgusting way. Do you realize the psychological trauma this might cause my son? As a parent, you're supposed to act responsibly, not enable this insanity. I'm warning you, if my son ends up with any mental health issues, I won't let this go. Mom snapped out of her fantasy when the other parent shoved her slightly, straightening her posture. Mom dusted off her non-existent injuries and sneered at everyone in the room. You're all so petty and conventional. What's this obsession with no early relationships? Kids at this age are pure. Their feelings aren't tainted by material concerns. Love is love. And if it's not love, then it's not. It's parents like you, who overreact and stifle their children, that kill beautiful love stories before they even begin. And you think my daughter is the problem? Your son is probably secretly thrilled, but he just won't admit it. The boy's mother was so furious that she burst out laughing, sarcastically. Thrilled? My son? Let me tell you. He's in the hospital right now on an 4 drip. Do you have any idea how bad your daughter's breath smells? Instead of making up these delusional scenarios, maybe you should take her to get her digestive system checked. And while you're at it, check your own brain too. What kind of parent raises their kid to throw themselves at boys at this age? This is sexual harassment. Plain and simple. It's a sickness that needs treatment. Mom, deeply entrenched in her fantasy world, was unfazed. Years of reading doting wife novels had thoroughly warped her logic. No matter what others said, she twisted it to fit the narrative in her head. She pointed at the other mother and scoffed. Corrupt. Absolutely corrupt. Do you even understand your son? Out of all the classmates in the room, Why did he target Lily's textbook? Isn't it obvious? He's denying his feelings because he fell in love with Lily at first sight. He's using this tactic to get closer to her. All his efforts to bridge the gap between them have been ruined by you, his ignorant mother. Just wait. You'll regret this when he's left heartbroken and Lily moves on. The boy's mother, her face red with fury, slapped Mom hard across the face. That finally shattered Mom's delusion. Chaos erupted as the two mothers began to physically fight. The other parent, being stronger and more athletic, easily overpowered Mom, yanking out chunks of her hair and leaving scratches on her face. It took the school staff to separate them. The school's solution was to transfer Lily to another class, require the family to pay for medical expenses, and issue a strict warning that any future incidents would result in expulsion. The boy was also punished and had to write a 1,000-word reflection essay. But the damage was done. Lily became infamous at school, and everyone saw her as a laughingstock. Instead of feeling ashamed, she misinterpreted the attention as proof of her allure. She doubled down on her behavior. In gym class, she deliberately tripped and fell into the arms of another male classmate, using the opportunity to touch his abs. In the cafeteria, she squeezed into lines with mostly boys, accidentally brushing against them. Whenever anyone glanced her way, she staged dramatic coincidences to interact with them. Her antics led to a flood of complaints from parents, and eventually, Lily was expelled on the grounds of repeated sexual harassment. She became the first and only student in the school's history to be expelled for such a reason. The day Lily was expelled, Mom stood outside the school, shouting and cursing for an hour. She was livid. This was the prestigious school she had spent a fortune and used backdoor connections to get Lily into, and now it was all for nothing. I don't get it, she raged. I followed the doting wife novels to the letter. Why does Lily keep failing to attract male attention? Lily was soon enrolled in a vocational school. Coincidentally, my part-time boss's daughter worked as a teacher there. Having heard about my family's bizarre stories, she eagerly shared updates on Lily's escapades at her new school. One day, Mom called to tell me they had decided to change tactics. After years of failure, she concluded that Lily wasn't suited for the CEO doting wife narrative. Instead, Mom bought a pile of rugged man doting wife novels and began coaching Lily with this new archetype in mind. The mother-daughter duo spent their days engrossed in these novels, fantasizing about Lily's transformation, but reality had other plans. As a transfer student, Lily was initially met with curiosity. Her classmates imagined her as the sweet, elegant heroine of their own story, a charming girl with soft black hair, bright round eyes, and a graceful demeanor. This was how Lily and Mom imagined her too. But when Lily walked into the classroom, the room fell silent. 3 seconds later, the room erupted in laughter. The students at this vocational school were far less refined than those at the top-tier high schools. Their laughter and mocking began almost immediately after Lily entered the classroom. Is she a monkey? Seriously, she looks like a monkey from Mount Amay. Oh my God, her skin is so yellow and sickly. And ugly too. She's so short. How is someone in high school not even 5 feet tall? I used to think our school uniform looked nice, but now that I see it on her, it's gross. Wait, do you smell that? There's this fishy, rotten stench. I'm gonna throw up. As the taunts rang out, Lily's face turned red, all the way to her ears. Sometimes I couldn't tell whether she was angry or embarrassed. She always wore the same aggrieved expression. Her tear-filled eyes blinked rapidly as she introduced herself. Hello, everyone. My name is Lily. You can call me Lily. Her babyish, high-pitched voice made the entire class erupt in laughter again. A girl rolled her eyes and mimicked her. Hello, everyone. My name is Lily. You can call me Lily. What is that? Does she have developmental issues? Her voice is so weird. Lily covered her face and gave an awkward laugh. I'm sorry. It's just my natural baby voice. Another boy groaned. Can you not talk? I'm about to puke. I'll stop if you stop. And so, amidst everyone's displeasure, Lily happily joined the class. That same day, the homeroom teacher announced that another transfer student would join them tomorrow. A boy with a strange personality. Mom was thrilled when she called to share the news. This is perfect. 2 transfer students in a new environment, supporting each other emotionally. A sweet, gentle girl and a brooding loner boy. This is the beginning of a beautiful romance. Lily's rugged male lead is finally here. I brushed her off and went back to my studies. She didn't know that I'd already applied for a study abroad program. Fall went well. I'd leave next year, free from their madness forever. The new boy, Jackson, arrived the next day. He had bleached blonde hair and good looks, but his violent temper made him notorious. Word quickly spread that he had been expelled from his previous school after sending another boy to the hospital during a love triangle gone wrong. His wealthy family had smoothed things over with money before transferring him here. I could already imagine how Mom would spin this. In her mind, this was a redemption story about a rebellious bad boy and a sweet, innocent girl. She would see the contrast as irresistibly romantic. But this wasn't a novel. In real life, boys like Jackson were dangerous. His violent tendencies and entitled upbringing made him reckless, with no regard for consequences. I could only imagine how much Lily would suffer trying to win him over. As it happened, Jackson was assigned to sit next to Lily. Knowing this, Lily had prepared extensively for his arrival. She wore a pink dress and tied her hair into 2 ponytails, trying to look sweet and innocent. On his desk, she placed a bottle of warmed milk and 2 freshly steamed buns. Believing the trope that such boys never eat breakfast and develop stomach problems until the heroine lovingly cures them, she waited eagerly, imagining their story unfolding just like in her novels. But Jackson didn't show up for morning class or lunch. It wasn't until the evening study session that he finally arrived. On her way back from dinner, Lily saw that the breakfast she had prepared had been tossed into the trash. Standing by the back door, she spotted the blonde-haired boy sitting at her desk. With teary eyes, she approached him and, in her most pitiful voice, asked, "Jackson, why did you throw away the breakfast I made for you? I know your family is rich, but you shouldn't look down on poor students like me. That's just too much." This time, Lily was playing the impoverished doting wife role. Jackson froze, confused by her behavior. When he finally looked up and saw her face, he blurted out, "What the hell? What is this thing?" He glanced at Lily, then at the trash can, and seemed to piece it together. His first words were harsh. "Who the hell put that garbage on my desk?" "Oh, it was you, wasn't it? Listen, whatever that was, my family's maids eat better food than that. Don't ever leave your trash near me again. If I see you trying this crap again, I'll beat you up. Now get lost." Lily stood there, stunned, as tears rolled down her cheeks. She stomped her foot and, with a trembling voice, shouted, "Jackson, you're so mean." Lily yelled before dashing out of the classroom, tears streaming down her face. She expected Jackson to chase after her, like the male lead in a romance novel. But instead, she ran straight into the dean on his nightly patrol. "Lily, what are you doing running around during evening self-study? And why aren't you in uniform? Just because this is a vocational school doesn't mean there aren't rules. Go back to class and write a 1.000 word reflection. Tomorrow, you'll read it aloud during the flag-raising ceremony. This is unacceptable." When Lily returned to the classroom, she saw that Jackson had already swapped seats with another student. The reason was simple. He found her ugly and smelly and didn't want to sit near her. But Lily, completely immersed in her novel-like fantasy, approached Jackson again. He was playing a game on his phone, but Lily snatched it out of his hands and stood with her hands on her hips, striking what she thought was an adorably stern pose. "Jackson, it's class time. You shouldn't be playing games. How could you disrespect your parents' hard work like this?" Jackson lost it. He grabbed the nearest textbook and threw it at Lily's face. "What the hell is wrong with you? I switched seats, and you're still haunting me? Whether I play games or not is none of your damn business. And you're the one wandering around instead of focusing on class. Listen, Lily, if you stick your nose in my business one more time, I swear I'll kill you." Lily sniffled, her voice trembling as she replied, "I was only walking around to keep an eye on you. I just care too much. Okay, fine. I won't bother you anymore." Jackson sneered, grabbing his phone. Just as he was about to speak, a notification popped up on his screen. He glanced at it, and his tone shifted. With a sly smile, he leaned closer. "Lily, do you like controlling me that much?" Lily looked up at him, confused, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Slowly, she nodded. "All right then," Jackson said, his smirk deepening. "I'll give you a chance. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be at the billiard hall near the school. If you can find me, I'll come back for evening self-study. But if you can't, leave me alone for good." Lily's cheeks turned pink. She bit her lip, nodding enthusiastically. "Okay, Jackson. It's a deal." She returned to her seat, practically glowing with excitement, completely oblivious to the glint of mockery in Jackson's eyes. The next afternoon, Lily found Jackson at the billiard hall. As she entered, she saw a girl clinging to him. "Jackson, why won't you go out with me? Are you still hung up on that B******H who almost got you thrown in jail?" Jackson, leaning casually on his cue stick, wiped chalk off the tip while a cigarette dangled from his lips. He looked every bit the rebellious male lead Lily had dreamed of. "I already have someone I like," he said lazily. "And it's not her." "Then who is it?" the girl demanded. Jackson's eyes flicked toward the door, landing on Lily. With a smirk, he pointed his cue stick at her. "My new desk mate." The girl and her friends turned to look at Lily, and then burst into laughter. "Jackson, if you don't like me, fine, but you don't have to insult me by choosing that. Are you saying I'm worse than her?" Jackson shrugged. "Yep, worse." Then he waved at Lily, who shyly walked over, blushing. "Jackson, I found you. Let's go back to class for evening study." The scene, with Lily's doe-eyed gaze and Jackson's casual arm slung over her shoulder as they left the hall, was burned into the girl's furious mind. Later that night, Lily excitedly texted Mom to share her progress. She also sent me a message, boasting, "See, sis, if you'd listened to Mom and followed the doting wife path, you could have had a handsome, rich, rugged boyfriend like me." She even posted a picture of Jackson's back on social media, captioning it, "My novel's male lead has finally arrived." What she didn't realize was that her fantasy was about to come crashing down. After the evening study session, Jackson left immediately without waiting for her. Lily, too wrapped up in her joy, didn't think much of it. She took her usual route home, walking through a dimly lit alley. This time, though, a group of delinquents was waiting for her. Leading them was the same girl she'd seen with Jackson earlier that day. Lily, once again deluded by her novel fantasies, didn't run. Instead, she put on a brave face, walking straight up to them with the demeanor of a strong yet innocent heroine. Standing in front of the leader, she said confidently, "Even if you hurt me today, Jackson won't like you. He'll only pity me more." A loud, crisp slap interrupted Lily before she could finish her words. The gang leader grabbed Lily's hair, striking her several more times without giving her a chance to react. It was only then that Lily realized something was wrong. Why weren't these people bantering with her like in the novels? Why didn't Jackson descend from the sky to rescue her as a hero? Lily, physically weak from years of malnutrition and irregular eating habits, had no strength to fight back. Her underdeveloped body couldn't endure the beating, and she crumpled to the ground in no time. The excessive milk consumption over the years had even affected her blood. What she coughed up wasn't red but milky and foul-smelling. Disgusted, the gang leader and her crew wiped their hands on their clothes, looking at Lily's limp body with disdain. Satisfied, the leader smirked and pulled out her phone, dialing a number and putting it on speaker. On the other end, Jackson's voice came through. "How's it going? Don't kill her. Just teach her a lesson. She's been making me sick these past couple of days." "Don't worry, Jackson," the gang leader replied confidently. "I never mess up a job." Only then did it dawn on Lily. She had been set up. Slowly, painfully, she realized that novels were just stories, and reality didn't follow the same script. When Mom called me to share the news, I was already abroad, having just landed in a new country. Listening to what had happened to Lily, I hung up without a word. To this day, I haven't told them that I left for overseas studies. Walking out of the airport, I removed my old SIM card and replaced it with the new one. My new life was fulfilling. I made friends. My professors liked me, and one even helped me get a part-time job at a friend's company to gain experience. I thought I'd never have to hear about Mom and Lily again. But then, I got a call from a friend. "Your sister, Lily, she jumped off a building. Your mom's lost her mind. After the beating in the alley, Lily had a wake-up call. It was as if she had been reborn with clarity. Logging back into my old messaging app, I found dozens of unread messages from Lily. First, they were filled with regret. She admitted that poisoning me in our past life was wrong. But over time, her messages turned resentful. She blamed me for not stopping Mom from grooming her into a doting wife. Knowing full well how damaging it was, she said I was responsible for the person she had become. Reading those messages, I felt an odd sense of relief. Like surviving a disaster. It didn't matter what I did. Lily would have found a way to blame me. In her past life, she was the model student, the child everyone envied. Her biggest setback was a failed confession of love. And she couldn't direct her anger at anyone but me, the sister who loved her most. In this life, she tasted the consequences of her actions. But even on the brink of death, she refused to take responsibility, instead blaming me for not guiding her. If I was going to be wrong no matter what I did, why not choose a path that benefited me? Letting go of the urge to save others and respecting their fate was a lesson I learned through my own death. Lily's suicide was largely Mom's doing. After her epiphany, Lily tried to rebuild her life, using her memories of the past to study hard and aim for college. But her body couldn't keep up. Years of poor health had taken their toll. All Lily wanted was to live her remaining days in peace. But Mom wouldn't allow it. Obsessed with her fantasies, Mom declared, "Lily, don't give up. If Rugged Man novels didn't work, we'll try something else. Look at you. You're the perfect frail beauty now. We can target an aloof doctor or a fellow patient as the new male lead. Two people, healing each other in a hospital. It'll be a beautiful love story." But Lily had had enough. In a fit of rage, she screamed at Mom, recounting everything from her past life. She tore the four from her arm and grabbed Mom by the throat. "This is all your fault. If you hadn't forced me into this doting wife nonsense, I wouldn't be here. I was top of my class. I could have gone to the best university, had the brightest future. It's all your fault. Why don't you just die? Die." Mom passed out from the attack. When she regained consciousness, Lily had already jumped from the hospital rooftop. The news of Lily's suicide sent Mom into a spiral. She wandered the streets aimlessly, a hollow shell of the person she used to be. The doting wife dream she had nurtured for over a decade had shattered. The media picked up on Lily's story, and soon the police got involved. The gang members who attacked Lily were arrested. And Jackson, the mastermind, wasn't spared either. The case garnered so much attention that even Jackson's wealthy family couldn't shield him from the law. After hearing all this from my friend, I stayed silent and hung up the phone. Standing under a maple tree, I watched the dry leaves lift with the breeze before gently falling to the ground. The grudges and regrets of my past life settled with them, returning to the earth. Someday, those fallen leaves will nourish new growth. Even the dead trees will bloom again in spring.